Okay, good evening and welcome to the July 25th meeting of the Board of Selectmen. Would all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Get him? Again, good evening and welcome. Those of you that may not, there are some overflow seats in the other, the old part of the town office, and there is a video hookup over there so that you can hear what's going on here in this room. If you are over there and choose to speak, you'd have to come back here and get in line. But let me get to the reason most of you are here, and that's to conduct a public hearing by the Board of Selectmen to receive comments regarding a draft of a proposed Dam Control Ordinance. Before I open the public hearing, let me just give you a quick brief on where we stand. Gary will do that, and then we'll jump into the public hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As most people know, we have this ordinance before us tonight that's on one track over here, and there's also a petition with DEP that is 10 years old that's on another track. I'm going to give you a little bit of basic information so that hopefully everybody's on the same plane in terms of what we're doing tonight and what we're not and what's happening up front, because it's been a while and we just recently learned some information from DEP. I'm going to pretty much read a prepared statement. It's quite short. The Maine DEP has ruled that a 2007 petition by Cleo Smith and 49 other waterfront owners at that time is still valid and will have a hearing here. The petition asks for a 10-inch reduction in the lake level in the summer and a large but unspecified reduction every 10 years in the fall. And if everybody wouldn't mind silencing their phones, that would be a wonderful thing. The DEP public hearing will be Monday, August 21st from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. in M.R.S.A High School. I'm assuming in the large auditorium room there. And at 1 o'clock on the same day on the 21st in the high school, there will be a technical session that will be held during which the previously submitted sworn and written testimony will be presented and possibly cross-examined. This meeting in the afternoon is also open to the public to listen, but public comments will not be allowed. Public hearing is in the evening of the 21st, and anybody can come and comment. For written testimony, the town submitted testimony from Chairman Dennis Abbott on the historical aspects of the dam and the lake level, Don Holden, our dam controller, on how he manages the lake level, Public Works Director David Benton on the impacts to our public boat launch if the summer lake level is decreased by 10 inches as proposed by the petition, and from myself as town administrator rebutting the points in the actual petition itself. The petitioners, to my knowledge, did not submit any written testimony. After the August 21st meetings, DEP will then render a decision on what lake levels the town must maintain in perpetuity. If this goes forward, they will tell the town what levels we must hold in the lake. They won't come do the work. We'll just have to do what they say. Now, the only thing that could change that is what we're here for tonight. And if you didn't get a copy of that ordinance with the little word "little" in red here, there's some more copies outside on that chair or on that table right there. This local water level ordinance that we're having a public hearing on tonight that could be approved this evening or in a couple weeks ahead of us. If it's approved and sent up to the commissioner and he approves it per the state statute, it could nullify the August 21st hearings because it retains control of the dam here in town by local ordinance. DEP won't tell us that. So for the moment anyway, the selectmen are entertaining this ordinance, which is kind of a standalone ordinance in itself to retain local control. And we're also going forward with the petition process that has been prescribed by DEP in the 2007 petition. So moving forward into the ordinance, if you don't have a copy, please go over and get one. And the public hearing tonight is just for that. And the other things that I described are happening on August 21st and beyond. So, thank you. Dennis and board members may have some other points they want to bring before we actually start the public hearing.
Yeah, just kind of from a historical perspective, 10 years ago this started. We had many discussions as a board at that time. we entertain the fact of coming up with an ordinance. In fact, this originally draft was pinned at that time by our council. There was a lot of concern with an ordinance that the Board of Selectmen oversee and, in essence, oversee themselves. So I think this time around, we've really kind of taken a step back, and in this ordinance, it proposes a group or a committee of 3 that would oversee and control the water levels in the dam within the lake, and then it would be a Board of Selectmen ordinance, okay? And we'll get into the particulars of that as we go. So the reason we're here 10 years is because, and I guess, you know, you could ask the DEP that on the 21st, but from our perspective and the person that we were dealing with at that time, we had provided sufficient information that we believed would have precluded a hearing at that time. I think that we do have some written communications from the gentleman that was handling at that time, and it just kind of got, he's on to a different job, as so many times in the state DEP, that letter or this process got put in a locker or a drawer somewhere, and here we are 10 years later. And this is not the first time that we've seen the DEP come back years after something we thought was closed in this community. We've got lagoons at the old transfer station that now have a salt shed over the top of them and whatnot, and that was supposedly resolved well over 25 years ago. But so there's a little historical perspective, as the DEP doesn't just forget things, okay? Might be handled 3-4 generations later, but and they really have given us any substantial reason why this is delayed 10 years, but here we are. So we've chosen to take this tack with the ordinance. That's what's before us this evening.
Do we want to talk about the changes that?
Let me get into and call the public hearing to order, unless there's anybody else that wants to make a comment. So I would call the.
We have a lot of people here. There's
Right.
a vacant chair in the back there, I can see from here. If somebody that's...
Couple of things, just you know, and call the hearing, and the intent of the hearing is for the board to receive public comment regarding a draft proposal for the Dam Control Ordinance. So I would declare that public hearing now open. There is a sign-up sheet going around. Please sign if you are here for that meeting. I think there's a clipboard here. Make sure that your signature's there, and that's only for our records. If you choose to speak, I would ask that you step to the podium, give us your name and whatever comments that you may have. Let me just quickly address what Gary has said. This has been a work in progress. There is a draft. There are some subtle changes that have been and that's in red on page 2 and 3 that have just come from the attorney today. One of those really, because the lack of, okay, how does one petition to change something if this ordinance goes through? That wasn't really clear, so we've added in Article 4 hearings under subsection A a sentence that says a petition may be submitted by the lesser of at least 25% or 50 people around the lake. It had addressed people that are downstream and whatnot. So this is it's consistent with what the state law requests. So, and that's really the only changes that have been here. The other change, which is at the bottom of page 2, and that's just so that we don't, gives us a provision that this board doesn't have to hear the same request year after year after year, and those kinds of things. The other thing was a little bit of a clarification. As you know today, that the policy says that that annually we will draw down the lake to a level of 4.4 feet 6 inches. That's from the established level of 6 foot 6 inches. And we had a little clarification with the way it was worded, and that every 5 years, we take it down an additional foot to a level of 3.6 feet, not 3 feet. And so there was some confusion in that language. So those are the only changes that have been to this draft thing. They're certainly not anything that is substantial in nature, and then if anything, it kind of opens up the ordinance a bit for anyone that wants to file an appeal or file a request on how to do that, and without going back to state law and looking all through all of the things that are in state law. So I would open this up for public comment.
Can I make one quick statement?
Yeah.
The folks that are standing out there, if you wouldn't mind, just tell people there's all kinds of seats next door. If some other folks come in, please, Leo.
Nobody behind me.
All right,
Okay.
very good, thank you.
All right. Dale, step right up to the...
My name's Dale Whitman from North Waterboro. I live in a shallow cove at the north end of the lake, and I'd like to bear testimony as to the impact that it would have on our water supply. I, like every other residence in the cove, is on a driven point well, and they're very shallow, and if the lake were to have been drawn down as the petition requests, that would have a significant impact on our water supply. Thank you.
All right. Let me just, and thank you for that, Dale. Just one issue here. We're here to talk about the contents of the, we're not here to talk about the trials and tribulations or the pros and cons of the petition. You'll be able to do that on August 21st if we get to a hearing. What we're really talking about is the input on the words and the structure of this ordinance, okay, which in essence puts in control of the water level and the dam control to the town of Waterboro. So, who's next? Sandy?
Sandy Bennett, East Waterboro. In regards to the ordinance, I appreciate the town being active and taking this at hand. Unfortunately, it probably should have been done earlier now that we're finding some other things out. I would like to ask the selectmen that it ought to pass. It looks acceptable, and I believe you said the lawyer has corrected some of the things that needed to be addressed with that, and I think if the selectmen and the town administrator and the dam controller feel that this is correct, then I recommend ought to pass. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Richard?
Richard Siboney. I've lived on Little Osprey Lake since '79, and I know that the height of the lake has increased at least 6 to 4 inches in that vicinity, because all my property, the lake is undermining the ground at the lake level. So that is a complaint I should have brought forth years ago, but I thought there was an ordinance that the lake level could be set at what you guys were setting the dam at. And just a couple other points. As any historian knows, that Little Osprey Lake was 2 small ponds in the early days of the country, and there was a sawmill at the end of the dam, at the end of the lake, the outflow, and it rose the lake higher, and over the years the dam's been constructed higher and higher, so now we're at 6 feet 6 inches, and a lot of properties I know depend on that dam being higher, but it's really higher than it was historically been, and so that's my comment about that. So I think that it's really higher than it should be, because my property is being undermined by the water constantly running against it. So, okay.
All right. And again, if those are the kind of comments that you would share with, on the 21st with the DEP if we get to the hearing. Next. Leo?
I brought some pictures, and the island, it shows, this is the island in 91. This is the island now. It has 2 trees left. Half of it has eroded since 91. And that's how the difference in the water level. And many of the islands all over the lake, this is what has happened. And we're losing a lot of trees. Like the gentleman said, the water level is even with the land, so whenever you have the boats come by with a wake, it goes over, drags the soil in, and the trees just eventually collapse. And this is what happened to this island. Now, if this happened in 21 years, there won't be any island in another 20 years. And a lot of the land on the lake will erode. And this kind of proves it right there. And that's just the one in front of my house.
All right, and again, I appreciate the information. That's information you should share at the hearing on the 21st. It's got very little to do with the content of this ordinance, and that's what we're here to talk about tonight. So
Well,
I
they want to keep it.
I appreciate the fact that you are pro or con of whether it should be raised, lowered, whatever the case may be, but we're not here tonight to discuss that. We're here to talk about the ordinance. Someone else that hasn't spoken yet. Yes, sir.
Apologize for my phone going off just as you were speaking.
Sheriff's office will be waiting for you.
That's
after.
okay. It's fine. That phone call was from 9,000 miles. That was my son in Vanuatu. I am in favor of the town of Waterboro. My name is Ross Dindio, D-I-N-D-I-O. And I grew up off of Logan Circle. That's where my father had his camp. And that was back in, I was born in 46, so from 48 on. And now my wife and I own property in the narrowest part of the lake, which is on West Shore Road, which is right opposite Three Tree Island. And so I'm well aware of how the lake has been and what it is and the boats and all that. But what I am in, I think that the control should be in the hands of the town. I was chief engineer for Mass Highway, and I was also CEO for Mass Turnpike. I have a lot of dealings with DEP over my career. I don't think, you're smiling, I don't think we as a community, and I know I don't live here full time, but I don't think the people of Waterboro want to have a state agency come in and take over control of the lake. I just don't think that's a good idea. I think the people that are elected, and then I believe the way this is that the select board could appoint a board of 5, I believe it is, with three present for a quorum, I think is the way it read. I think that's the way it should be. Hearing from the citizens, there are way more people living on the lake now than there was when I grew up on the lake. A lot, and I mean living full time. And I think they can come to your selectmen meeting and speak and vote. I can't vote, but because of your good graces, you let us speak. I think that the control should be with you. I think it's very important. It's not that I have anything against DEP, but they're a bureaucracy. And I think the testament is in this. In good faith, Cleo Smith filed a petition on August the 3rd of 2007. Whether you like it or you don't like it, that's not the issue. She filed in 2007. It is now August the 25th of 2017, and figure out what happened to that thing in those number of years. You don't want that to happen. You want the responsibility to be in your control, and you want to be responsible to the citizens of the town of Waterboro. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Nobody else?
No one else? Is anybody else? Is anybody in that other
Yeah.
room?
How about anybody that's over in the gym? Please come on over if you'd like to make a comment. There's no line.
They'll be knocking at the door here.
Come with a free hamburger, they'll be
Just,
over.
yeah.
This gentleman hasn't had supper.
Just so everybody knows, we will entertain this later in the agenda this evening. And as Gary said, once we approve it, it goes to the Commissioner of the DEP. The Commissioner of the DEP has to approve this. We don't know, and we're certainly not getting any indication one way or the other from those folks that we've talked with in the DEP, whether or not this will forego any further discussions, or whether or not the August 21st technical hearing and public hearing will continue as planned. So you need to stay tuned to that, and we'll make sure that, Richard, you got another comment?
Nobody next door, I guess, according to Sherry.
Okay.
It's not a comment, it's a question. How did this lake level, 6 foot 6 inches, been established?
Was established back in the 60s, and it was all at a discussion. It happened at a town meeting, and the reason it happened was because everybody would, I want it this level, no, I want it that level, and it ended up that the Board of Selectmen at that time set it at 6 foot 6. Now, there have been 3 different dams, this being the 3rd dam, since that 1960s vote, okay? The first dam went in about 68, 69 timeframe, and that was the first dam. There was a cement-faced dam at that time, for those of you that have been around here. The first design of this split thing was done back in the 60s, and Don could probably speak to this as well. There was only one gate, I think. It had less ability to control the water level, okay?
I have a follow-up question.
For those of you that remember, that dam deteriorated and actually crumbled on the front part. We could not keep the water at 6 foot 6, okay? That's why this dam was put in back in the 90s. This dam is fixed with 2 different gates. It's got the ironwork on the top of it. It's still holding up very well, although has seen some deterioration of the concrete. But it's much more, gives us the ability, and Don, for all his time and effort and his meticulous record keeping, he's able to go up and maintain a fairly consistent water level, okay? And that's been since the late 90s. So the 6 foot 6 was established back in the late 60s.
How is that measured? That's what my follow-up question is. How is that measured, and has the measuring point eroded so that you're measuring it different, or has it built up? What are you measuring
6
it
foot
from?
6 is, at least from my knowledge of the latest dam that's in there, and Sebago Techniques could speak to that, of what the established level is, but they would tell you that it's exactly to the inch.
I was
Of
wondering if
where-
it's
of where
measured
the-
at a sea level factor. Because anything else is measured from can either rise by mud or can rise or lower by erosion. So I wonder if that's happened over the years.
I'm not sure, but I can
Okay.
tell you that this dam won't hold water once it gets up to a certain level over that.
Okay, thank you.
I need to make a statement. One thing that the 59 petitioners, our idea was not to get the state to be involved. We wanted to deal with the town. We applied, got no results, and our main concern was the erosion of the lake, and we want to keep it pristine. Most of us on the invasive plant patrol to keep the lake nice, and so everybody can enjoy it and like that. And that was our concern, is the erosion. And if the town can do something about the erosion, we'd be very happy. And I think I mentioned that to Gary. And that was our main concern. So there's been talk that I want the state to take over, or DEP. That was never our concern. we just had to file with the DEP because the town would not deal with us at the time.
Once you filed with the DEP, that put this whole process into a loop, and the state law is very specific, that once there is a petition, and the DEP has to act on that position, they will
Correct.
then control the water level.
Not necessarily.
And-
We
and-
had a choice of a compromise, and we still can do it till 10 days prior to the meeting, correct, Gary?
Yes, this board chose not to do that.
Right,
That's what
but I mean, that was the
right,
choice.
And just so everybody knows, and if we get to the public hearing, certainly we'll share that.
Yeah, I
But
just
there
want
was a-
people to know
There was a
that
compromise,
that was
take it
not-
down 6 inches instead of 10. And,
Correct.
And I will, only somebody that's been here all my life, I will tell you that 80%, if not more, of the erosion in the lake is caused by the size of the boats.
Well,
So,
yes, but if the water level is here, and you've got a 6 to 10 inch wave, it's not gonna hit on the side,
you
it's
wouldn't
gonna
have
go
a 6 to
over.
10 inch wave without the size of the boats that are on the lake today. So that is a huge contributing factor.
It's the wave follows the bottom of the wave. That's how you have a beach.
Yeah,
It rides itself up. It will still ride itself up on dry ground.
but if the
But
level of the,
We're not, with all due
Right, I
respect,
know.
Leo, we're not here to talk about
no,
water
I
level
was just
tonight,
wanted to
okay?
make that statement and make sure
I
that you
appreciate
all
that.
know that,
We
because the
appreciate the
people I
comment.
represent wanted you to all to know that that was not our general idea, because what we were told, that they would deal with the town, and we would come to a compromise, and the town would still be in charge, and that's what we were told. at
Well,
the
we
time.
thought that this was done in 2007, and you can see.
So are you in favor of the town passing this ordinance too then?
If
If you want to keep it with the town, are you in
if
favor
they
of them?
decide to, look at the erosion and take care of the lake.
Well, they can't. If,
Yeah.
if this doesn't pass,
No,
they
if it,
cannot.
what I'm saying, if it passes, will you take care of the erosion on the lake? Will you take that into consideration?
If it passes, they will be required
No.
to follow this
It's-
ordinance.
Right,
it's-
and that's,
it's the
just
same.
so everybody, listen, let's stay on one subject.
Okay.
The ordinance is control of the dam and ultimately the control of the water level,
Exactly.
okay?
And
Period.
you want to keep it the same,
That's what this says.
that's what I mean. So that we.
John
Yes,
Sear, I'm on West Shore Road. Also a director of the Lake Association, and I would like the wording changed on the petition to include a member of the
Guys.
Lake Association, to include a member of the Lake Association board on the board for the dam levels. When you do form a board, we'd like the wording
I
kind of
think
changed
we
to
left
include
that
one
open.
person.
We left that open, and the reason we did that is that if the Lake Association is very active, naturally, we want a member on the
Right.
board. If the Lake Association's not very active.
But it
then
also helps the communication between the two boards if
Right.
we have
And-
a common member, that's all.
And I think the board will take that into consideration as long as there's an active board, which there is today, as you
Yeah.
know. Right.
And there's no way the wording can be changed to include that, to make sure that a board member is on that board? That's the only thing. It's just, a bunch
could,
of
but if-
politicians get together and say, we don't want you on our board anymore, and it's like, if at least the wording was in
Yeah,
there.
the only hang-up with that is that it would have to be a board member that's a resident of the town of Waterboro.
Okay,
So that would be the.
Yep.
But I think we can,
yeah,
yes, we need to look at that,
okay, thank you.
okay? But it doesn't preclude that from happening, and I think that's really why we didn't get into a lot of definition of, it's gotta be one from the planning board, one from here, and one from there, and so usually when you start getting into that, you get into messes down the road, so.
Thank you.
So just, yeah, go ahead, sir.
Hopefully I don't have to go to the podium.
Just speak up, real loud.
Okay, my name's Mark Moran. Now, if I understood you right, this management ordinance would go to someone at DEP.
Has to be approved by the DEP commissioner.
Okay, now my next question obviously would be, is that gonna take 10 years? I know you probably can't answer that, but is there a possibility that that can happen?
We don't have that, we don't have control of that.
Right.
I would think it would take less than 10 days. They're gonna get whatever comes out of the process tonight, if this is approved, they're gonna get that sent to them later tonight or tomorrow as an FYI. And then we'll dress it up and deliver it in hard copy and a tested copy and that sort of thing. But
Is that something that our local representatives can make happen? That's why we hire them, vote them in, David and Dwayne,
We've had some discussion and
see if they can speed that along.
that would not hurt.
Okay.
I mean, I know certainly there's been some comments from those guys relative to, 10 years is, so.
Senator Woodsome was here last Friday and brought him up to speed on the situation, but we have been instructed that this ordinance, if it's created and if it's approved rather, has to be sent to a certain person in DEP who will then take it to the commissioner. I don't think it would take that long because I'm hopeful that DEP can make a decision, and we know that they can. They'll make it long before August 21st. And tell us what is or is not going to happen with that process.
Right now, it's a wild card of whether or not, even if the commissioner approves it, whether it prevents any of that further action. And in hindsight, when we had the discussions 10 years ago, and we decided, there was some cumbersomeness out of this, that, we probably should have gone ahead with it then and been done with it. But at that time, it seemed, we had a lot of input from the gentleman that worked the soil, the Conservation Commission, if you remember, Forrest, that was here. We put thousands of dollars into a couple of projects for sediment in the lake and those kind of things. And he had a statement in those early days of what he saw for erosion, and that was in 2007. And I can't speak to his filing, but he did have a filing that he saw minimal erosion in the lake. But that's, he was a soil conservation guy. He was more concerned with what was running into the water rather than what was happening. Yes, ma'am.
And Carol Kussman, North Waterboro. If you make a recommendation to the EPA and they approve your recommendation, does that mean there's no August meeting?
We don't know that yet. We won't know that until the DEP tells us. That's in their, that ball is in their court. They will make the determination of if the commissioner approves this, if we approve it tonight, goes to the commissioner, and he approves it, then that's their decision of whether they will continue. But the state law is very clear. If there is a local ordinance, then the DEP does not have control over the water levels in that community.
Okay, so you're going to recommend, hopefully, to accept the ordinance?
Well, we would hope that we wouldn't be going through this tonight if we didn't think that we could.
So okay.
Yep, go ahead.
Regarding this whole process, first of all, in response to your question about the 10 years, I will personally see that I am the oil can to the squeaky wheel, and I will send them an email or a telephone call every single day until they're so sick and tired of hearing from me that they will act on this. So I won't let it go by the boards. Secondly, I'll contact the head of the warden service and see if we can get increased enforcement for the lake as far as the boats on there. But when you cast that type of net, there's maybe some people that live on the net that live on the lake that might get caught in that net, as well. But I have a sense from what the people gathered here that the people on the lake truly care about what happens on that lake. And my sense is that people that come from, and I hate to use this term, but come from away, don't have that same feeling of ownership in their properties of the lake. And so they don't care whether or not, they go through the narrows down there by Three Tree Island at Mach 1 and leave a rooster tail 30 feet high, that takes the trees, takes all the leaves off the trees. So hopefully we can get, the warden service to, take care of that aspect. I don't know unless you have a suggestion on how this board is to control erosion, other than doing those things, and everybody getting a pail full of sand and going around. I just don't see how that can be expected of this board. We will do whatever is humanly possible to see that that situation is corrected. And as far as mentioning about this should have been done a long time ago, what this board has found is there is a number of things that probably should have been done a long time ago in this town. But we're not here to fault prior boards of selectmen. We're here to try to correct things so that 10 years from now or 15 years from now, future boards aren't dealing with issues that we've had to deal with today, because we want to correct those. And I think that this is a very good, responsible ordinance. And you know, I would certainly recommend its passing, just as a citizen of Waterboro who's lived here a long time and has, though not owned a place on the lake, my family has owned parcels of property on the lake for years, and since sold them. But so there's a vested interest in a lot of people on this board as well. I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with the Abbott name, as Dennis is. They have a number of places on the lake. My wife is an Abbott. Her grandmother was a place who used to own the Lakeside Market years ago. Some of you may even remember that. They had a place on the lake. So there's a vested interest in you know what is happening in Waterboro on this board. So and I would agree with Cleo. I don't think that the intent originally was to get DEP to control the lake, and I think that would be probably one of the worst things that could happen. For a couple of points. Is one, we would have no control of the lake, but we would still be stuck with the financial aspect of it, because the town would be required to make repairs to the dam, make whatever repairs that DEP said, and it would be your tax dollar that's going to fund that, and you'd have no say in it. We just have to do it. So I think that in this case, local control is the best course of action, and I get the sense from what I've heard from people here that you feel the same way. So I guess to wrap this up, my final question is there anybody in this room that is opposed to this ordinance? I'd like to hear them speak. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'd like the record to reflect that not one person said they were opposed to this.
Yeah.
Because silence doesn't show up on the record.
Yeah,
So you need to say that
yeah.
not one person said they were opposed to what you just asked.
Thank you, sir, for making that point.
Got it, Rob. Anything else from the board? If not, I'm going to call this public hearing closed. And I would offer, while everyone is here, an entertain a motion from the board to bring this vote up from item 10B on the old business to take the vote now on this ordinance.
So moved.
Moved and seconded to bring forward item 10B. Any discussion on moving that forward?
No discussion on moving it forward.
So, all those in favor of moving it up? Opposed? Motion carries. So, with regard to discussing and voting on to approve the Ospey Lake water level management with the current edits in it, which I believe everybody has a copy of here tonight. If you don't have a copy, make sure you grab one on the way out. Yes.
I have a question, point. I didn't get a chance to talk to Dwayne. He was the only one I didn't get a chance to beforehand. About the changes in red here, Dwayne.
I don't understand.
It makes sense? Okay.
I think that's just a matter of our decision to do that. Any other discussion?
That's the only question I had on discussion was whether we were going to discuss, first of all, the composition of the committee to oversee the...
We can certainly add that as an intent if you want to do that.
I would. I think we stated to the gentleman. I forget which gentleman stood up now.
John.
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 That we would, we don't have a discussion on that. I want to, this is Mr. Jones' shirt. I'm sorry, I don't remember your name.
John
sir.
Sear.
John Sear, okay, thank you.
Yeah, so I think what we want to do is just to add the words that the hearing board should include a lake association member that is a resident of the town.
Yeah, should or may, yeah. That way.
If it says shall, then we get locked into the fact that if the lake association
Doesn't
down the
present
road is
somebody,
not
right.
active, then I'm not sure that it benefits the hearing. So I'd entertain a motion with that provision in there to accept this.
Do we need to go back into our regular meeting?
We're in the regular.
We're in the regular.
Just check.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve.
so,
I'll second that.
by Tim, second by Gordon, to approve with the edits that are contained in red and the provision that we will add in there that we should include a registered voter or resident of town of Waterboro that is represents a lake association. Okay, is that understood? Yes. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. We will move forward then. Thank you, folks, for coming. You're more than welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting.
August 21st, Massabesic High School.
I'll call Dave Woodsome.
First session, 1 o'clock?
The 1 o'clock technical session is for testimony that's been submitted, but it's open to the public. No public comment at that time, but you're welcome to come. The public hearing, 6 o'clock in the evening.
Unless the DEP.
Unless this all goes away and you'll hear my screaming long and loud.
Good job.
David, you want to just...
Excellent. Oh, yeah.
Video.
I'm gonna speak to
Apologize for the
David
delay.
about something else anyway, so.
The room is clearing
Now
up.
we got two issues.
All right, so we're going to jump back into the agenda. Any announcements from anybody on the board? Additions or deletions to the agenda?
None from me.
Appointments, we're all set. Public comments, I think we've heard those tonight. Correspondence, treasurer's report, Senator Woodsome, and Representative Prescott's newsletters. Selectmen's report. Gordon, anything?
No, not at this time.
Ted?
I just want to make one little comment. Friday night, they had their first, what did they call those things?
Concert in the park.
Concert in the park. I wasn't able to stay very long, but when I was there, the first lady that was entertaining, there was a crowd of probably 30 or 35 people there. I thought that was a pretty good start for the first night. Wasn't able to stay for Dave's part of it, but hopefully the weather will cooperate and they can continue on with that program.
Yep.
Seems pretty interesting.
Tim, anything?
I just think that in the last report, I think Bridget and Colin did a great job of summing up this issue with the lake level. I think that's part of why we had such a good turnout tonight, was that really informed people in an unbiased way. I thought it was a good job.
Dwayne?
That was a good article.
I think I'm all set, other than Tammy Wells also had an article in the Journal. And she didn't get an answer from DEP either. She
No,
said,
I asked him,
so.
I didn't, yeah.
It must
Gary,
be real news then. It must be real true news. There is no answer.
Gary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Fake news.
Most of my report has already been delivered, but we'll talk a little bit here. Selectmen have a goals workshop for Tuesday, August the 1st at 6 o'clock. I'm going to talk a little bit about the fire, which everybody knows all about, but I want to talk about it from the water aspect, the water district aspect. As everybody knows, we lost 3 veteran, very popular businesses in that fire. We're thankful that nobody was hurt. We had to shut down the hydrants because our 339,000 gallon tank was threatened to run out of water. It was drawn down to about 30,000 gallons, and then the department had to switch to water shuttles. A very impressive mutual aid effort there with probably 8 or 10 tankers and 2 sets of 3 very 1,500 gallon, I think, tubs. And that was what I would call nothing short of impressive. We obviously depend heavily on the call force volunteers for such events, and the chief estimated we put over 600,000 gallons on that fire. But more importantly, what did we learn? We know that the water district is working hard towards a new water source and a water tank. They're in the planning and engineering stages for both of these projects, but the financing for such projects could be $1 million for each of these. And with the small size of the district with 156 customers or thereabouts, it's very difficult to do, and stay tuned for more discussion, I think, with the town as a whole and with the Board of Selectmen to see if the entire town may have to get involved in some aspect of that. And certainly what we're about to talk to on that graphic up on the screen is part of that. The water district had to buy water to replenish the tank. The hydrants were offline for about 3 days. They came back up Thursday the 20th, so there's some serious implications here in terms of firefighting capabilities. Went to a meeting with the owners, DEP, insurance adjusters, and David was there, the code officer, and the fire chief on the 20th. I didn't have anything to say. I did a whole lot of listening, but it was good to hear that they're eager to have the site cleaned up as soon as the insurance folks are done. And one other nice note is the Department of Labor came down here. They were not asked to come down here. They came down here on their own. They had a meeting in this room to meet with displaced employees last Thursday, I think it was. There were 2 or 3 here, not many, because most of them have been given jobs elsewhere, but it was nice for the Department of Labor to come down and do that. Moving on to Bennett Hill Road, staff has heard long and loud the poor condition of it, and graveling and grading began on the 20th and should be done by the end of this week, if not done already, I guess. Done? Okay, thank you. Our new contract deputy will be Dwayne Fay, a veteran of the Sheriff's Office Department. Sean Sanborn, as most people know, is moving on to detectives, and Dwayne should start by the middle of August at the latest. We had an internal posting at the fire department for our new captain's position. We had 2 applications, again, internally only, and we're pleased to announce that we've hired Christopher Carpenter of Dayton. He's a former live-in student at the Saco Fire Department. He's worked for Goodwin's Mills, Alfred Fire Department. He's also a staff sergeant in the Army Reserves. He's an advanced level EMT firefighter 2 with many other certifications, and he'll start working for us in early September. The other good little note to end on here is the ridge vent at the fire station has been replaced, and it actually lets hot air out the top, which is a good thing.
There you go.
That's it from me. Thank you.
Can you send those on to us, please?
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah, that would be great.
Thanks, Gary. Any comments, questions? All right, let's roll there. Under new business, discuss Lucas Road, McLucas Road, legal issue. Recently got an email, certainly not going to deal exclusively with this tonight, but it's a concern whether or not the road was adequately closed years ago. And I think we've all been around long enough to know that, you know, there has been work done over the years. I don't think anything recently by the municipality, but certainly is something that I think we're going to have to determine what is the legality of it. For those of you that most recently, the concern with McLucas Road is the blocking of the road so that there's not public access beyond the improved section. So that there's some landowners who want to block any access from there over to the mountain road, but evidently they want the town to take.
Can we set up a site walk and go up and take a look at that?
We ought to be able. We ought to do that.
I think even if we involve the planning board, but we, as a board, years ago, every now and then we'd do a site walk, but this is something that probably nobody's been up through there in a while, and I think it was probably back in the late 80s when I was up through there, so.
Let's take that on. We need to look at what the legal ramifications are, and we'll go from there. I know that any improvements to the road have now been done by the homeowners up there. It's like a lot of other roads within the municipality that were either abandoned or discontinued or whatever the case may be. And I think the request here is in the statement is it was illegally closed, and I'm not sure that that's true. David?
We were doing maintenance on that road right up to the time that the state told us that we could no longer maintain private roads.
You remember the year? I just remember the year. 80s?
What was it?
90s?
2, 3, 4.
It was after, it was when Fred was in there, wasn't it?
Oh, when I was
after
in.
you was there.
So it had to be in 2000.
It was just before Doug took over, so.
But it was.
It hasn't been 20 years by any means.
No.
It's fairly recent.
But it was
seasonal work.
Yes.
Right.
And that's what it was under. It was a seasonal gravel road.
We graded it.
Well, it was before any of those houses.
But we graded it like we would have graded camp roads.
And we added material.
Right.
We maintained it so you could drive all the way through.
Yeah. All right.
I can guarantee
so
you
we
won't drive all the way through now.
I guess we need to sit
You mean
down
through
and
from
determine.
McLucas Road to McLucas Road Extension?
That's correct.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
We used to gravel and grade all the way to the tower, all the way to the walking
Right,
path.
but I don't recall us going the other way. And I guess we could find out when.
That road, I live on that road. That road's heavily washed out between where it goes up to the mountain road and
every year
the other side.
We haven't maintained. Once you make the turn to go up to the tower, we haven't maintained that as much as we used to.
Yeah, because there's huge rocks in the road and big ruts, and a lot of it is.
So we're talking about McLucas Road extension.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
There's a Civil War
I don't-
cemetery up there.
I'll be perfectly honest with you, I think we might have gone and graded the improved section of it, but I don't recall going all the way over to
Oh, I
Lucas
do,
Road.
I do, Dennis.
We took the winter road, the snowmobile money,
Money
Right.
and did
back
it.
when Glenn Bean was road commissioner. And I hauled the gravel up in there, but that would have been
I don't think there's any.
80s.
Right. Late 80s. I can remember this coming up. We can go back and look at
You have to have a four-wheel drive or a four-wheel.
town meeting minutes, but this was brought up to discontinued, and 81 House was still alive and made comment at the town meeting. Town meeting was over at the elementary school here, so that had to have been in the 80s or 90s, so we need to start to dig some stuff up. Bridget?
I would appreciate it if someone could take the second grade level description in 3 sentences of what is the issue that you are discussing, because I really don't know from what it says here.
We have a request that has challenged the board relative to whether or not there's some homeowners that live on that road that have now said that we illegally discontinued the road.
Sherry.
Okay? So,
So some homeowners on McLucas Road or
McLucas Road Extension.
Hasn't that been blocked off for about 10 years?
Yeah, well, that's my concern, is they blocked it off years ago, and now there seems to be a property dispute up there, so they want to pull the town back into it, so.
Thank you.
This email was in the packet. Sherry's going to make you a copy now. But it's still confusing, and Natalie advised that I should go meet with attorney Mr. Chowdhury to first nail down exactly what he's looking for here. I love the idea of a site walk, so why don't I get with him as soon as possible, and then if he wants to lead the site walk, then
Okay. Let's do something.
Maybe before that August 1st meeting, if it's a workshop, we can continue that, do a site walk at 6 o'clock up there and then come down here to a workshop.
Well, let's see if we can get contact with who is going on up there.
Yeah.
All right? And like I said, we're not going to solve it tonight, but we at least brought it up, and we need to address it. Okay, the next item is to discuss vote to renew the state malt spirituous vinous liquor license for the Fraternal Order of Eagles located on 1050 Main Street.
So moved.
Been moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
I see nothing out of the ordinary in the whole application.
And the code officer and the fire department have checked, and,
Yes.
okay. So,
They were timely in their submission this.
well, it expires this week,
Oh,
or next Tuesday,
okay.
next Monday,
They could get better.
yeah.
Well, I know one of the issues that we had with them was their late filing, and we told them, you gotta get this in earlier, so.
All right, so any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Item C, discuss vote on staff approval of catering liquor license applications.
I will make a motion that the chair of the selectmen sign the liquor license on those one-day events.
You don't want to have anybody else in town hall?
I don't know that we ever have,
And that's without vote,
and I
without
just,
discussion.
yeah, I'd rather see the board do it than,
Vote to have the town administrator.
I don't-
do that
I don't,
At the last meeting.
I don't have a problem doing that as long as there's availability. But if we're not available,
Sherry,
well,
didn't we talk?
in most cases, you're gonna have a week.
No.
Selectmen always did it because we met every week, and if they come in here on a Thursday, want a liquor license on Saturday, sorry, buddy. You can plan ahead just a tad.
Yeah. Well,
And
that's nice, but it does happen
even-
like that.
Even a lot of times, if they come in here on a Thursday and you're off to a meeting and got Friday off, They still ain't gonna get it signed.
Let me offer this, then, and then if we want to keep it with the board currently, I mean, we can always bring this back up and change it. How about that the chair of the board or the vice chair of the board, depending on availability, sign these one-day licenses, and then, and we don't have to bring it to a vote of the board. Right? And then if that, for some reason, doesn't work and we want to bring staff into it, then we'll bring it back to a meeting.
I'll
So,
make that a motion, chair or vice chair.
If it came down to the last minute, I think that Gary could probably pick up the phone and say, hey, Dennis, on your way by, or, can you swing in because we had a request,
Right.
it's a wedding or something?
yeah, I don't see that is, if I'm out of town, then Tim would do it, whatever.
I
So,
never go anywhere.
so it's been moved by Dwayne. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion by the board? You have a question?
I have a comment.
Okay.
As someone who has occasionally applied for those things, not being able to come to town hall and put in an application with someone who works there full-time when the town hall's is open and get it approved, it just makes something to me that seems, because I'm an honest person who's doing honest things, much more bureaucratic than necessary. So that's a comment. Why is it so powerful, and why does it need to be elected officials to do it?
Well, state, right now, the state law says it has to be. Okay, so.
That's,
Thank you.
Anything else? All those in favor? Opposed? Doesn't mean that we can push the envelope and assign staff to do it, but I think let's try this right now.
You can do that.
I know.
Back to person.
Item D, discuss vote for appointment of RSU 57 Board of Directors. What is your pleasure for Rhonda?
I move that we appoint Rhonda as, to that position for a period of 1 year, under the authority of the board.
June 30th.
Do I have a second?
Yes.
That would be through June 30th, 2018.
Oh, yeah, that's the last name on that.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Discuss vote for appointment of the planning board for a term to expire June 20th, 2020. So this would be a 2-year term. Phil's Ted's, right?
Yes.
And we have a candidate, Ryan Vaness. What's your pleasure?
I would move that we appoint Ryan Vaness to the planning board for that period, the 2-year period.
Okay, it's been moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
I'll move that we take Roger Maycomber's resignation from the road review committee.
With serious regrets.
Yeah.
Been moved by Dwayne to accept Roger Maycomber's resignation from the road review committee with serious regrets. Do I have a second?
I'll second that, with regrets.
Any discussion? All those in favor? We'll miss him. I think he was very, very
David's got
good
a
at what he
comment.
did.
Make a comment on that, please?
Yep.
It's imperative that we find more people to get on that committee. Right now, there's just 2 members, and it's not enough to vote on.
Yep.
So it'd be really, really necessary that we find someone.
We can't force him to stay, but we can.
No,
see
no.
if we can.
Well, Roger he did a great job, and he helped us tremendously all the time he was there. He was the first one to put the road counters out, and he just needed some time for himself.
Okay. All right, item G, discussion of Board of Selectmen liaisons on boards and committees. Have you got lists? Or was it on the, I guess I got it on the, okay, so unless somebody wants to, we need to plug Ted into some of this stuff. The Cemetery Committee, Gordon has been the liaison Want to stay there, Gordon, or?
Yeah, might as well. I talked with Angela a few times. She's the head of it.
Community Gardens, it's been John Gale. Naturally, John's gone. Ted, I don't know if you have an interest in that.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll put Ted there. Conservation Commission has been Dwayne.
Well, you're gonna be someone good.
I've never been to a meeting, but I don't think they've ever had a meeting.
I'm not sure that they're meeting.
I will stay there if there is a board.
Eagle Maine Board of Directors, we took care of that, I believe, the last time, so I am the appointee and Gary is the alternate. Economic Development, I think I'm now in a position to go to those meetings, so I'd stay there unless somebody else wants to be involved. Library Trustees, John has been handling that, so that's open.
Could I ask how often they meet? Do they have a regular schedule?
Yeah, 4th Thursdays,
Fourth
So once a
Thursday.
month.
All right,
once a month.
I'll take that if no one else
Okay,
wants it.
so Tim will plug you into that. Old Home Days was Gordon,
Yeah, I'd like to stay on that.
okay. Parks and Rec Committee was John, so that's now open. You interested in that, Ted?
Yeah, I can do that.
There's not a lot of, that needs to be kind of rejuvenated. I think it was a committee of John and a couple.
Who's on that committee with right now?
I think
I don't have my list.
Todd and,
April.
oh, April Cody, right, April Cody. Yeah, Go Beal. And, yeah, Go.
Yeah, Bob Gobiel was.
That's right.
To get more engaged, he said looking for a new department head also.
Right. All right, Public Safety Committee, I know, I'm sorry, Planning Board. Tim, you okay with staying there?
Yes,
or-
I am,
Okay.
unless someone else wants it.
Public Safety Committee, there was Gordon. I know Ted came from that committee, but that's up to you two guys. I'm not, well, I'd leave it to you two to battle it out.
Appoint somebody to that 2 weeks ago, as far as I remember. I think there's only 3 people there right now.
I don't know if you, I don't go off the top of my head, because I've had a lot going on. But
Got an update on the Parks Committee for you, just so you know. It's Bob Gobiel, April Cody, Megan Swan, Michelle Bennett, and then
Okay.
there's a couple of new additions.
Road Review Committee, so who's going to do Public Safety? You going to stay on that, Gordon?
not if somebody else wants it, I'm not.
Ted?
Yeah,
Just
I'll do
liaison.
that, yeah.
Okay.
What's going on there?
Road Review Committee, Dwayne, you were on that, you okay?
Yeah.
Transfer Station, Recycling, which there really isn't anything going, but
Hasn't been,
Tim,
but I'll stick
you've
with
had
it.
that. 10-Town Group, Tim, you've been going to those meetings?
Yes, I'd like to stick
Unless
with that.
somebody's got a desire to do those are once a month here. Zoning Board of Appeals was Dwayne,
I'll stay there.
Stay there.
Unless somebody else wants it.
and I believe that is it. All right, that clears that up. Item H, vote to whether or not to appoint Limerick CEO Michael Gilpatrick as another deputy code enforcement officer and deputy plumbing inspector.
So
Gary.
moved.
Yep.
Motion?
I
Been
second
moved,
it.
seconded, discussion.
I'm concerned with, why do we need to add somebody else to the insurance and, the payroll and stuff when really it's been, you can count on one hand, I guess, the times that we've actually needed an alternate.
It's
I mean,
if
the other
somebody
alternates
is
are busy.
sick or if they're on vacation.
Well, I know, but right now, I mean, they've been sick and been on vacation, and we've only called, what, maybe twice?
This week is a real challenge. The lineman, Patty, the lady that used to work here, really doesn't have much availability. She's not been able to help much at all. And one just doesn't do it when Glenn's gone for a week. Jim Allaire and Alfred is pretty busy with his own schedule. He has Fridays off, so he'll be here most of all day Friday. He was last week. So we really need a second person that has a little more availability than Patty, who hasn't been answering the call, so.
Other than an hourly rate, do they get benefits?
No, they don't get, there's
No
no
cost
benefit.
to us, Gordon. They-
Well, yeah, you still have to pay workman's comp and stuff like that.
Well, once you get,
I mean, they're appointed by the board, and they'll be covered in that. I mean, but the only cost in terms of payroll is the hours that they're working for.
right, it's a payroll cost, those,
There's no stipend.
you had your hand up over there.
I didn't even have to second. Was it
Tim,
Tim,
any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Where are we?
Up on the screen.
Up on the screen, discuss about whether or not to grant.
Dennis,
Yep,
if you want to go to 11, bring 11 up, because I've got to leave.
okay.
If you
I'll second his motion.
All right, so we'll move 11 up, both A and B.
I'll move that we approve. You want to vote on that first, to bring it up?
Yeah, let's vote on it to bring it up. So been moved by Dwayne, seconded by Gordon to bring it forward. All those in favor? Opposed? All right, now I'd entertain a motion on
I'll
both.
make a motion to approve the July 11th regular meeting minutes.
Okay? Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded for the July 11th meeting. All those in favor? Opposed? And this is not the July 17th annual town meeting, it's the June 17th.
Oh, yeah.
And do we want to address those? I think everybody had it in their packet last week.
I will move that the annual town meeting minutes be approved as written.
Okay, it's been moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
You can't do, you
Oh,
can't.
that's right, I can't, sorry.
I'll second
I'll
that.
get you. That's been seconded.
Just second, if you're paying attention.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries 4-0-1. All right, now let's jump back up. Dwayne, I guess you can
I've got to
go
go
now. All right. This is to kind of, at least, I guess, I'm not sure that I'm ready to vote, but I think we need to discuss what the Water District is proposing here, and I think, well, I guess I'll leave that to David and Gary, I guess, or are you carrying the water for the
I'll kick
district,
it off.
right?
David can jump in. I went to the Water District meeting last week, and obviously we had a meeting in this room a year ago, just about now, or 10 months ago, when Sebago Techniques was here. Chris Branch was still working for them, he's not, and Owens was here also. And here we are, there's the transfer station there, Bennett Hill Road, and right up in and around, actually I made you some incredible graphics here too, that you'll be thrilled about. There's a big black circle in there that is the rough location of where a tank could go. And that is somewhere right about there up on the screen. I think the base elevation for the tank is desired in 238, 239, I think, for the base. This would hopefully be a shorter and squatter tank, wherever it is, and this location would allow for that because there's a little more height of land there for a greater head. And the Water District is truly only looking for a concept approval now. They're under no understanding that they definitely will build one there and exactly where and how it would come out. But I guess they just wanted a concept approval from the board to use the town land in this fashion, so.
So what is, on this picture, what does tank and tank 3 mean? Are those all?
Right there?
Yeah.
That's another location where it could go off of Robert's.
So the elevation is the right, that's the right elevation, I guess, is what.
That would suffice, I guess, yeah.
They're both very close.
All right. But there's no road there, right?
There's no road to either site.
Okay.
Those other two sites are private property too, correct?
Well,
Or are they still on the town road?
This,
Yeah, the town only owns that block.
the
Just
first
the
one.
bottom of the yellow part there.
There is an entrance right here that goes across the Malone property.
Yeah.
And that gentleman lives in Massachusetts. That is one way that we could go in if we can get an easement there. The other way is up here, our water line ends right here. So we could go up Bennett Hill Road and in through the transfer and up to the same area. The one off Route 5, which is right beside JD's,
Yeah.
would be the shorter of the two. It would be
But there's no road there.
no,
So,
no, it would be a cross-country line that would only be there to supply this tank. We're just having difficulty communicating with the property owners. That's our biggest problem.
but Mr. Maloney, if he decided he wanted the line across his property, you could tap off and it could feed that property
Well,
in the future.
That's what we're offering to him is 1 or 2 or 3 taps, so to make his property, to enhance his property for selling.
Yeah.
Because his property is for sale.
Haven't we,
David? Where'd it go?
we've had a discussion with him about purchasing that at one point for part of an industrial complex or for the town of Waterboro. Why would we be enhancing his property's value and having him, try to sell it to us? He wants more than the market value, I think, right now. But with the water going through there, he's gonna up his price.
It would benefit his property. If I owned that property and somebody wanted to bring a water line through it, I would say, start tomorrow. And he won't even return their phone calls. So, why he's doing this, I don't know.
I don't either. First, when John first was communicating with him, he sounded like he was interested. And then he just stopped answering our call.
When was the last time you contacted him, or had any contact with him?
We tried, by letter, by phone.
Probably because we told him we wanted too much money for the property. We
The
wouldn't
sign,
buy it.
the sign, is,
We didn't
says
tell
it's
him
now
that.
been, prices are reduced and is under new management. I don't know what that means.
You didn't tell him that, no.
No,
We've always had trouble getting a hold because the comprehensive plan committee did the same thing. We tried to
Yellow one.
contact them. It was
So
too
that,
difficult.
you would go here.
yeah.
Who owns this piece?
I don't remember.
The L. Is that Ramsell?
Mr. Malone's goes right up beside that.
Malone's is the big
Right, this is the town line, right? This is
Yeah.
a town property.
Yeah.
I think this is Ramsell, I'm not positive.
Maybe because that cuts out to the new road out on Bennett Hill.
Right. And then you've got those 4 lots, I think.
So it's Roberts Ridge Road,
Roberts Ridge is now over here.
Which side is that?
which is close to that tank.
Right. But they would still, they'd have to go up
Oh,
next
I
to
see.
the,
Oh, I see.
here's a
Follow the
CMP
road.
pole line here.
Yeah.
No, that's private. As well.
So this would be up behind, what's the guy's name, the contractor there?
Dearborn's, isn't it? Dearborn's house?
No,
Dover.
Dover.
Dolbeck.
Sorry, Doblin's house.
But they'd have to extend the water line that much further
Right.
too.
Whereas this, you'd go up, the water line could be extended and then, go cross-country
I
here.
would assume you'd go, wouldn't you go cross-country on Bennett Hill up to the tank rather than go down through Public Works?
We can.
Yeah, you could go to this line here, right? Somewhere.
You could still shoot a fire hydrant up the road some more.
Is that just beyond the old entrance to the old dump?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
because it's the old, I
There
think
were-
that's been put in, that's where the old pool
Yeah.
house was.
Yeah.
That's the town's property.
That would shorten it up considerably.
And capture all those customers on Bennett Hill Road too.
Yeah.
Potentially, there's gotta be what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 houses? I don't know what
At least
you'd
that, because you
capture.
got a couple up off the road there
Right.
in the woods.
You get 7 or 8 anyways.
Plus it'll give fire protection that much closer to the transfer station.
So what are we're looking for conceptual, hey, we're willing to sit down and talk? I mean, I think that's where we are, right? I mean, there's nothing concrete here, right? You know, there's no proposal.
Can I speak on that?
Yeah.
We
Just want
we
you to
have
take notice of how
Sebago
deep
Tech.
this thing is.
Sebago Tech is in the planning stage, and we're to the point where we either need consent from you to be able to go onto the town property, or we need Mr. Malone so that we can design one or the other. And we can't go forward with trying to borrow money until we know which direction we're gonna go with.
Well, conceptually, I don't have a problem with, if that's what you're looking for, is to propose to this board to say that conceptually, I mean, there's a lot of things that got a bit ironed out relative to leases and all of that good stuff, but.
Easements.
Right.
Sure.
I can bring you up to date on the reason for this. I'm not sure if you all know, but the reason is our existing water tank in 3 years has got to be drained dry and refurbished on the inside. It's an absolute. And if we don't have something online by then, the period of time that it takes to drain it dry, we will be without hydrants for fire protection.
People.
Or service too for the.
We can still serve
Still
the
do
water,
that.
because the system was designed to work without
Pumping
that,
on
but
it.
it's the hydrants that would be.
Right,
That
so
would be-
they'd have to cover, you know, they'd have to take all the hydrants out of commission.
And we also would end up
So-
buying.
So the cost
300,000
of the
gallons of
municipality
water to
is to
refill.
say, we're gonna lease you a pad of land, right? To protect and actually enhance, because now you're gonna have, I'm assuming you're gonna put 300,000 gallons up there or something like that, right? Because that's, for fire protection, you need 300,000. That would give us 600,000 on a good day, right?
Yep.
If both tanks were up and operational. And you could probably take one offline if you had to. So to me, it's
There's no well there, it's just gonna be
no-brainer. I
a
mean,
holding tank? Is that all it's?
It's going to be a holding tank, yeah. A gravity feed to maintain pressure.
Okay, so that's why the level has to, the land
So
height has to be right.
the elevation, and back when this was originally designed, back in the 90s, right, Pierce? Right,
Yeah.
Pierce. They had cited someplace here was the right elevation, which matched the elevation in South Waterboro.
I think you'll find that other tank was that other
That was,
site.
but I know that they had come over here and scouted different elevations, and their proposal way back was eventually you could put up another standpipe. So,
So you're looking to choose either or of those access points?
Those routes, yeah.
Because I mean, I like the idea of going up Bennett Hill Road. You increase your customer base, and then you're cutting across town land to a town
and
site.
if the town ever wanted to do something in this area, right, or with this area,
Pretty
for-
hilly, but
for
you
some
could.
sort of a whatever, industrial, light industrial,
Business
whatever,
park.
you would then have access to water.
Which is one of the
Bridget.
things that the,
And that's not a problem, because this is simply a storage tank, this is not a
Right,
well, so you're
right.
not
No, but
worried
you have to
about
run a
anything.
line to it, right?
Right,
Yes.
but there's
You
no
run-
wellhead protection zone or anything of that nature.
No, but you're running a line through,
Gonna run a line up Bennett Hill Road,
Yeah.
to here anyway, and then you guys make the decision if you're gonna go here or go to the transfer station or the,
Well, the first area would be best as far as the
it's the
amount
town
of-
garage right there,
Cost.
right?
Yeah.
Well, now the,
Without the salt shed on that photo.
so this is the old Gus Mill Road right here. It used to go all the way out to the,
So wouldn't it be least expensive to just go straight to the tank
I
as soon as you
think
could?
Pardon?
Wouldn't it be least expensive to go right to the tank as soon as you could, once you hit town land?
Yes.
Do you run the possibility of having the integrity of the pipe compromised if you run because you're gonna run this underground, right? If it's over on the other side of, going through that lower section of the transfer station because of all the potential chemicals that were left in there from the lagoons, because isn't there still some runoff that was found?
yeah, but it's, they're gonna be a sealed pipe.
I know it's a sealed pipe, but would it affect the integrity? I don't know what the pipe is made of.
If anything, that stuff's all headed this way.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't there, didn't they say the plume on one of the other things that was gravitating towards that brook that runs down through
Yeah,
there?
but that's down here. This is by the brook.
It's all going that way.
Yeah, well, if the pipe goes where...
No, they're gonna be up in here, so.
Well, if they go up in there, I can.
Yeah, I wouldn't
go.
I wouldn't go to
But
in here and then over. Why would you just go right across country here?
There aren't any houses or
Right to this
anything,
point.
Yeah.
Right across.
But
So-
before they were talking about
So
going,
how big
going across here.
How big a
going
pad are we talking about?
This, you don't do that at all.
Yeah.
Well, our tank that we have now is 39 or 40 feet in diameter and 139 feet tall, and the
Right,
pad
so-
is maybe 15 feet larger than that.
Right,
around.
so the property that you own down there is 100 by 100 plot, or?
That's just about what it is, yes.
So that's really what we're talking about, is an access road, right, that potentially would go in to 100 by 100 plot, that would,
Plot area.
right, and it would be,
If
I
you
would think there
guys
would be
want,
a,
we can take a site walk down.
it would be
there.
a
You can see-
99-year lease or something that the municipality would come up with that, right? I mean, that's how you do it. We wouldn't sell off the land, we'd just say, hey, you got a 99-year lease to, and any improvements that you wanna make.
99 years, all of our water's gonna be coming from the ocean anyway.
So do we wanna, from a conceptual vote, do we wanna conduct a conceptual vote? Is that what you need?
Is that because the ice cap's melting?
Do you need a motion for that, or just?
Sure. Are you looking for something that we vote on to say, you know, we would initially approve in concept
Yes.
an
To look for
arrangement?
financing?
Right.
You want to be able to use the land to plan this out on town
That's
land,
correct.
to actually
That's
do it. So
correct.
I use the term concept approval, but they really want to actually use this property for a study to put this tank on the town land.
Yeah, well, they can do that with a conceptual approval.
I would agree, yes.
So, if somebody wants to make that
So
motion,
we're gonna rent the water district,
the property,
the property at like $40,000 a year?
$42,000 a year.
Yeah.
You better bump that up because we're going for a rate increase.
Pay for the hydrant fee.
50 grand.
I'm looking up for your tax dollar. Come on.
Hydrant fees covered.
Okay, so I would entertain a motion.
I would make a motion that we agree in concept to the water district using Bennett Hill Road to run a new water line to the corner of town property and use a section of town property for a new
To
stream.
cite the standpoint.
Second that.
That's it.
Okay? Does that clarify that what you need?
Yes.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All right. Gary, you guys can break this up, I guess, any way that you
Yep, that's fine,
need
thank
it,
you.
right? What your engineering guys need, they need to say this is where it's going, right?
I need the map.
All right. Old business. Discuss review DPW director job description, or we,
You just say DEP.
Yes.
Sorry, DEP. Department of Public Works Director. I don't think we need to approve that at this point, do we?
I just remember the last time I, gave this to you a couple of weeks ago, I just wanted to make sure that you were clear and okay with the language in terms of recreation department references in here.
Well, that's what the charter says, so I'm good with
That was,
We can keep it here if you want it.
that was my
If you
concern.
wanted to vote for approval, I guess we can do that, but it,
I don't need that, but,
okay, all right, so we'll move on now.
okay.
We've already taken care of B. Already taken care of 11. Any pending decisions? Comprehensive plan task list. We're going to talk a little bit about that at our goals meeting. Actions list. Agenda items for next time.
Well, we put so many on this, I don't have a list right now.
Well,
After this meeting.
I know you got in front of, or at least one copy here, the Waterboro draft ordinance, and I don't know if,
Planning board's working on that. They really haven't started too much yet on it.
are they ready to at least come and have a discussion with us, or are they
I
not?
think the next step is for them to hold a public hearing, isn't it?
Okay. Yeah, I would guess that would be.
And it sounds like they're about ready to do that, but I'm not positive.
But they didn't, that was not on the agenda at the meeting last
time,
Wednesday.
no, it wasn't mentioned.
Okay. Yes, Sherry?
I think an item on our next meeting's agenda for the Pearl Street extension
Yes.
to,
I guess we'll know that
Yes.
tomorrow, right?
Thank you. Yep. Dennis is gonna join me on a site walk with at least Doug Jr., if not Doug Jr. and Doug Senior for that situation, so thank you. We'll put that on the
I
agenda.
don't mind that. Is it all right if I show up for that too?
Sure, as long as, if anybody else wants, so we just post it, so.
Okay.
It's set for 3. Dennis said he might be a few minutes late, but
Good.
at the moment it's set for 3.
Being behind the shop, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna forego the sidewalk.
Okay,
I'm gonna do a
physical therapy.
site drive.
Anything else, folks? If not, I'd entertain that famous motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Been moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
Just as a point of information.
Good night,
and not-
Irene.